Can you focus on me?
I'm a mother of a mixed child, okay? I'm not here to teach my son racism.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Giselle Lenya. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss a post.
Last couple of days, I've seen several videos that kind of led me to believe that people seem to think mixed people live in this fantasy world where everyone just caters to us. Bullshit. Do you know that Trevor Noah had the line say that his mom was his maid because he was literally born illegally? There are people that feel that I am an abomination against nature because I'm the mixture of two races. And I truly believe if given the chance, they will burn me at the stake like I'm a witch. There are mixed people sharing the fact that once they stop being beige, neutral babies and start becoming little black kids, their parents no longer wanted them. Damn. I could be in the middle of a really good conversation with white people, then once they find out I'm black, they'll either stop talking to me or all of a sudden dumb down the conversation with slang. The comfort level that people have to tell me that I'm not black. Like, who the hell do you think you are to tell me who my mother is? God forbid we start talking about black issues. Oh, Jesus. And the list goes on and on. But because we're exotic looking, we're forced to deal with these type of microaggressions in silence.
I'm a mother of a mixed child, okay? I'm not here to teach my son racism. I'm here.
When I say that interracial relationships and multiracial people will not solve racism in the US, this is what I mean. Some parents of multiracial black children have often otherized their children and otherized and fetishized their romantic partners to such an extent that they no longer see them as racialized people with racialized experiences. And this is not to say that they have graduated to a post-racial ideology or to color blindness, but it is to say that they have made decisions to ignore racialized experiences and the racialized identities of people that they claim to love, to prioritize their own comfort in having to deal with and talk about race and racism. If you are a parent to any child, and especially a child of color, raising them as raceless will only ill-prepare them for a world that is racialized and is much less forgiving.
If you're mixed and you got a white mom, stitch this.
Hey bestie. So I also have a white mom, and I just want to say that this video was just very incredibly embarrassing and sad. In the sense that you got on here and the point literally went completely over your head and you were very loud. It's very embarrassing to be loud while not even understanding the assignment. Whether or not you other half-breeds want to digest it and understand it and take accountability for it is the fact that having a white mom is different than having a black mom, socially and psychologically. When people say that mixed kids with black moms are different than mixed kids with white moms, they're talking about the fact that mixed kids with black moms typically tend to not grow up to be coons and colorists. And where do coon and colorist ideologies derive from? These ideologies didn't just come from nowhere. Please, let's use a little bit of critical thinking skills as to where these ideologies come from. Who's teaching these kids these things? I'm so tired of saying it, but there are more racist white moms than y'all want to believe.
Things my white mother says. I'm 51 years old and I was born in the very early 1970s. So, story time. I was dating this guy and this was about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and we went to go visit my mom who lives in assisted living. And he started asking her like all these questions about being a white woman married to a black man in the 1970s, and I'm like, why are you asking my mom all these questions? I'm so glad that he did, because I started learning things about my mom that she would just say so nonchalantly. So this particular day, she throws out this bomb of, yeah, we used to serve lunch in the community. What? Yeah, your dad, he was a Black Panther, and I would go and then we would serve lunch. The ladies and we would serve lunch in the community. Mom, you used to serve lunch in the community with the Black Panthers? Yeah. That later became WIC. My white mom served lunch with the Black Panthers in the early 70s, and that later became WIC. But for her, it's just like, that was life. We lived in LA. Like, that's what you did. You helped the community. It's really just so interesting to learn about.
I'm just saying, as much as I'm not a black woman, I'm not a white one either.
Amen. Amen. Can y'all just let us mixed people be? Like, we are not bothering nobody. We are just trying to live and exist And then people come and comment, you're not black, you're this, you look like this, I need to see your parents, Rachel Dezole, whatever the fuck her name is. Why, like, you don't go on a white person's or just a black person's post and say stuff like that, but you want to come on mixed people's stuff and be like, you're trying to act like this or you take up for this side. Why do y'all care? Do you live our life? No, you do not. Every mixed person goes through different experiences. Like, we are both races. I claim mixed. I don't claim one or the other more. Like, let us be. Like, I'm just over it. And, like, I see it all on TikTok with mixed people. And the second we defend who we are, people get mad and say we only talk about our race. But y'all...
Us biracial kids with the white moms are the most problematic.
No, but can we talk about how us biracial folks, that's me, with white moms can be the most problematic, because a lot of times our white mothers will expect us to take on identities that reflect their own, because the sacrifice of motherhood is so severe that they kind of want their biracial black presenting children to reflect their white experience. And I think a lot of folks like me, frankly, are just unwilling to challenge their mothers and say, like, I love you, but you are wrong. I love you, but my experience is different. And I love you, but I refuse to carry beliefs that are going to be violent towards other members of the black community, because I love my blackness too much to hold those beliefs, right? And that will cause like a rift with some family members, and has for me, but I would never take it back, because I don't want to be one of those people who holds us back.
If you're mixed and you got a white mom, stitch this.
I've been summoned. I understand where the original poster is coming from, because I too have a white mom who really has always tried her hardest to like affirm us in our black identity. But if I'm gonna keep it real, I feel like unless the black parent or the black father makes a concerted effort to bring their child up in blackness, we will be raised as white children. My father was a black man. I think he saw us as extensions of himself, so basically black children, and thought my work here is done, when in actuality we grew up in a very white area, so we only really knew whiteness and what it meant to be a white kid, but very much feeling like an other. I have a lot of like longer thoughts about parents in interracial relationships seeing their children as extensions of themselves, and I'd happy to elaborate on it if anybody wants to, but in the meantime, sorry babe, I don't think this is the hill to die on.
Biracial, right? I had a black mother, white father, but I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, right? And if you weren't black in my neighborhood, you were Hispanic. Okay. Now I look more like Hispanic than I look black, obviously, but I didn't relate, because I'm looking at my mother, a beautiful brown ebony skinned woman, and I don't look like her. My sisters were a little bit darker than me, and the kids didn't really accept me growing up, right? And I always would try to fit in to being and showing my blackness. Like I was like, I'm black. So when they kind of like ostracized me and made fun of me, then I would try to cling to the Hispanic kids, because at least I looked more like them. But then, you know, I don't know their language. I didn't know their music. And so I didn't feel like I fit in there. And so there was loneliness in that, where I was like this kid just climbing a tree. I would literally climb the tree and sit on the top of the tree like I don't belong anywhere. And yes, it created an incredible amount of insecurities that even when I got older, I had a hard time embracing my beauty, embracing that this is what I look like. So when all of a sudden my look became exotic, right? All of a sudden it was like a trend to be dark hair, dark eye, and curvy. And what are you? And more mixed children were being born. Then all of a sudden it was like, but you're beautiful, you're this. And I had a very hard time really equating beauty to what I look like.
So are you white and black? Yeah, I'm mixed. Oh my God, that's cute. But like, what are you more of? What do you mean? You know, like, what are you more of? Nah, yeah. Because I have a specific type, you know? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I'm black. You could call me black. 911. Oh, damn it.
As a biracial child who was born into a family where they weren't really ready to have mixed or black kids, I have a few questions for you, so listen in. 1. Do your parents think of your mixed kids as an exception to the rule about black people? You know, where they actually hate other black people, look down on other black people, don't see them as full people, and your kids are the exception to the rule, but they're actually still racist? 2, have you set an expectation throughout your entire extended family that they need to have a pro-black politic to both support your partner and your children? 3, have you set the expectation that your entire family needs to have a pro-black politic because that is really integral to the fact that now you have black people in your bloodline? Like, have you done that yet? 4, do you put all the expectation and onus of protecting your kids on your black partner? And 5, did you think that simply birthing mixed kids made you an ally to them? Figure out your answer to these questions before you make your little TikToks.
Oh, your family is that racist. Why would you be having biracial kids?
Yeah, I'm tired of asking that question. But what I really want to know is, why is it that when white women have biracial children, some of them go back to white men to settle down and have a relationship with a white man? Now you got biracial children. Who's going to teach them how to be black? Who's going to teach them? Who's going to teach them their culture and where they came from when you are with a white man and both sides of the families are white? Let me know where you think that makes sense.
Oh, your family is that racist. Why would you be having biracial kids?
Because a lot of our family was closet racist. I'm the first mixed child on my mom's side of the family. My mom's white, my dad's black. My mom's side of the family is from Kansas, Indiana, Ohio. My grandparents were never racist with me, but I never learned about all the racist remarks until I was older. Even being referred to the N-word as a baby, and my grandfather jumping across the table and beating the living shit out of my great uncle. So they all kind of just kept their distance and never had any interaction with me at all, which didn't bother me because who was around loved me greatly. And even though pretty much all of them have all died off, I broke the narrative. My great-grandfather told my mom I would go to hell because I was half black, but I'm the first mixed child in my family line, the first to get a diploma and a college degree.
If you're mixed and you got a white mom, stitch this.
Okay, I have to stitch this because I don't know why so many people in her comments are upset. I'm stitching her because I couldn't find the original video that she's talking about. But can I just say this entire topic is just stupid, in my opinion. Every mixed kid is raised differently. The way you're raised is influenced by your environment, by your culture, by the country you're living in, by the continent you're living in. I was raised in Russia as a Russian woman. I know I'm black, but I was raised as a Russian woman. If I were to live in Nigeria, I would have been raised as a Nigerian woman, regardless what race my mother is. A black mother living in Africa is not going to raise their child the same way a North American black mother would, or a European black mother. Same goes for white women. You're influenced by your environment. So I really don't understand why so many people are upset and why it's a race issue now.
You consider Chris Brown and Zendaya light skin?
Long hair star, thick in the hips.
So then I went to the comments because I wanted to see the whole conversation about the whole black mom, white mom thing. And why is this the top comment? Don't people know the difference between being mixed and light skin? Like, obviously both those girls are mixed, but they're also both light skinned. When y'all come up with this new definition? And because it has so many likes, I was like, am I tripping? Is it me? But no, the definition is having a light olive to medium brown complexion. It don't say nothing about two fully black parents. What y'all making up stuff for? Especially being a black, Latinx, indigenous, mixed race, or other person of color with such complexion. It's just about your complexion. But then I wanted to see, is it a black American making this comment? Because that's kind of bizarre given our history. It was a Nigerian. Is this a thing in Nigeria? You can't be light-skinned and mixed? This comment also said it, so I went to go check that one. And it's someone from the Caribbean. So is this a theory outside of the United States? Help me out here.
You know what's a term I hear all the time being thrown around on TikTok that just really irks me? The term white passing. Historically, to be a mixed race person or just a person of color who was white passing meant not only that you had naturally occurring Eurocentric features, but that you actively tried to alter and change your appearance, your way of speaking, your style of dress, and even dropping your family members that were people of color, and that could identify you and rat you out. Being white passing is not something that you just are. It's something that people of color do, or have historically done. Usually to slip into white society in order to survive or have a better life. Someone simply being ethnically ambiguous, or even just light-skinned, is not the same as white passing.
You know your family is that racist. Why would you be having biracial kids?
Say it louder for the people in the back. Child, I grew up in Redding, California. And if you don't know, let me tell you something. Redding, California, with my generation, the Gen Z kids, everybody, if not everybody, most of the people who have black in them are mixed. They're not full like me, they're half. And like all of them, like if not all of them, I would still say 90% of them have white moms and black dads, and their white moms think it's okay to say the N-word. They think it's okay to have their child walking around with their hair looking like a motherfucking crow's nest. Not only that, they know that they have racist family members that are clearly against not only interracial relationships, but interracial children in general. But yet they still continue to populate. And then when messed up shit happens, and this is what I hate when it comes to my people, all the black men in the world, all the black people in the world will have all the excuses, all the reasons, all the rationalizations, and all the BS to be okay with them acting a certain type of way, their family acting a certain type of way. But let it be a sister, let it be somebody black, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, not even 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, it's always the black woman's the issue. The black woman's this, the black woman's this, that, and the third. But your white woman who, you know, has mental issues, family is racist, doesn't take care of her kids, X, Y, Z, and the list goes on. She's always going to get a free pass. The black man's always going to give her the free pass. The black man's always going to want the white girl who has nothing going for herself, who's ignorant as hell, but you're not going to get with the black girl because you think black girls are too mean, are too this, are too that. You're going to allow these white women to say the N-word. You're going to allow these white women to call your kids the N-word with the hard R when they, like, I'm telling y'all, I have stories. I am from Redding, California. And if you don't know, please look it up. This is one of the reasons why so many former white friends, like I said, former, I have so many of them in Redding because they would not, it's like the older we get, it's like you're still not understanding. I was saying this stuff when we were 8, 9, 10, 12 years old. You're still not getting it. And, you know, I'm turning 23 this year. And guess what? Some of those former friends, the girls, they're with black men and have half black babies. And they say the N-word very freely. And they think that they can get a pass because they have biracial children. Yet don't even take the time to educate themselves on how to do their kids' hair. And it's not just hair, like I said, it's the microaggressions, the macroaggressions. But that's just my 2 cents. It's sad. And black men, y'all need to stand the fuck up.
White passing mixed people. Tell me what you do to let people know that you have.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I lure them into a false sense of security, Caucasian camaraderie, if you will. And then as soon as they slip up, I bust their ass. It's that surprise, motherfucker. Because what you won't be doing is walking away from this conversation without me telling you about yourself. Beep.
Okay, so this is the last time I'm going to address a comment like this because I'm so over addressing comments like this, but I really want my last time to be very clear so that I can just tell people to refer back to this video if they want to come to me with some dumb shit like this. First of all, let's talk about the obvious. I'm super aware that I am not dark-skinned. I'm very aware that I am white. The sun reminds me every time I go outside without sunblock that I'm a pasty ginger. You don't need to bring that up to me. I know. Promise you, boo-boo. I know. Second of all, when people ask me what my race is, because that's the only time I talk about my race is when people ask me, because I'm not that mixed person that needs to cram down my blackness as everybody's throat. So when people ask me what my race is, I tell them I'm biracial. I always say I'm half black, I'm half white. My father is black, my mother is white. That is the only answer that I ever give. I never tell people that I am black, and I don't try to force people to refer to me as a black woman. That does not make any sense. Lastly, if your debate is that race is a social construct based on phenotypes, well, based on my phenotypes, based on how I look, 90% of the people that come into contact with me ask me what I mix with, which would lead me to assume that I obviously don't look like a white girl, because if I looked like a white girl, then people wouldn't be questioning my whiteness. They wouldn't ask me what I mix with because they would just assume
Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me?